Okay, it's time for Dr. Mike. He's going to talk to us about the 3 stresses of life and what you can do about them. His bio is he was born in Colorado, transplanted to Alaska many decades ago. The first few years in Anchorage, his parents moved a few times, allowing him to sample the school district's elementary schools. I love how you say it that way.
Yeah.
5 different ones in 7 years. And he has 2 younger sisters. That was interesting. His dad was a chiropractor, and Dr. Mike became a chiropractor. He did his undergraduate work in a small college in Idaho, where he met his bride of 33 years, Tara. Her birthday's today, but she's traveling lower 48.
Mm-hmm.
He has 4 boys and 1 girl, and 1 son's supposed to be coming later. And they lived in Idaho, Iowa, and Valdez. His dad's practice was at Valdez. In his practice, he helps newborns and the young at heart thrive with gentle chiropractic care, individual nutrition, and emotional cleansing. Thank you, Dr. Mike.
Good afternoon.
Hi. Hi.
Hi.
We love you.
It's good to be loved. It is very good to be loved. It's been a while since I've actually done a talk or a presentation. I used to go to a church where I would teach and I'd give talks, but I don't go there anymore, so I've limited that exposure. I was part of BNI. I don't know if any of you know what BNI is, but it's a business networking organization, and had an opportunity to speak for 1 minute and then 10 minutes every once in a while. And I haven't done that for a long time either. So I'm kind of rusty. I appreciate the smiles and the love very, very much. And Laura asked me if I would do this, and she goes, "What do you want to do about it?" And we sat down, and it just flowed.
Yeah.
And I wished I'd recorded, because since then it doesn't flow. So I'm a little nervous about today. So I've spent the last 2 weeks, I got 10 pages here. And then I was highlighting just the little words, the keywords that would help me remember the right things that I wanted to share. My printer doesn't print color, so they're not marked.
Didn't matter.
So,
Highlighters are good.
yeah, but around time. So, there's a few things I'd like you to think about as I'm sharing my story, sharing my information, and sharing what I do. The first is that we can always be better. Right? We can always be better. That doesn't mean you're broken. It just means that you can be improved. Right? The second is that attitude determines altitude. Attitude determines altitude. And then one thing that I really love, and that is play the odds in your favor. And I'll share a really quick example of that. When I was in chiropractic college, I would have classmates call me up on a Friday, say, "Hey, we're going to get together and we're going to study for our class, for our test on Monday." And I'd say, "Sorry, I can't do that." And they're like, "Why not?" "I'm taking my wife on a date." "How can you afford that?" I'm like, "Well, how can I not afford it?" I'm taking her on a date. It doesn't mean that I'm spending a lot of money. I'm spending time with her to build that relationship, because everything costs. And I'm decreasing the odds that someday she wakes up and goes, "Who are you? And where's my divorce lawyer?" So I continue to take her on dates. I let her go do the important things that she liked to do. And that's why she's not here on her birthday. She's seen her dad, who's like 89 or something and failing in health. So she's down there to celebrate with him. So play the odds in your favor. There's a couple other examples that I could share, but that's a really good one. All right. So I grew up in Valdez, and there's many days, once I got my driver's license, I remember waking up and the window was frosted. I turn the car on, turn the heater on, and I have a little hole right there at the bottom.
Yep.
Been there,
Experience
done that.
You have garages then.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
How many miles can you drive?
So,
I'm not going to admit how many I drove. But you understand what I'm talking about. And as the car warmed up, your field of view expanded. I hope to expand your view today, because we've all got this little hole that we've experienced in our lives about many different things of life, right? So I hope to bring some heat and clear your windows. I'm Dr. Mike Olkjer. I'm a chiropractor, second generation, like she said. I do a lot of nutrition programs with people. I do a lot of emotional cleaning for people, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. I'd like to share with you what my story is, and let's start near the beginning. I have two younger sisters. Before the baby was born, we lived in Colorado, and she went in for her well baby checkup. I don't know what age, but 6 months or somewhere in there. And they gave her her first shot. And before they pulled it out, she coded.
oh,
And fortunately, they were able to bring her back to life with no ill effects. The doctor said, well, next time we'll just decrease the dose.
There's going to be a next time. Sure.
Well, my mom was a nurse, so there was a next time, and my dad was a country bumpkin that knew no better. So they went back for the second well baby checkup, and the exact same thing happened again. Coded again. This time, again, they were fortunate to bring her back to life. Apparently no harm. This time, though, my dad said, we're done with this. Not happening again. Okay. So that was a pivotal moment in our family's history of healthcare. Okay. Now move forward to the 70s. We had the diesel crunch. Now I was 2, 3, 4, somewhere in that range. I don't remember it, but I know about it, that we had some sort of diesel embargo, right? The fuel embargo. Well, my dad was a construction foreman for the largest concrete company in Denver, pouring concrete for the largest condominium complex, and he got a pink slip, said, we're done. Can't have diesel for the trucks, can't pour concrete. My mom was an Air Force brat. She said, and she'd been to Alaska before the 64 earthquake. She said, hey, let's go visit Alaska. We got time now. So my dad thought about it. They went to Denver, or I guess they were in Denver. I don't know where they lived. I was little. But they went to the car dealership, and they talked to the car dealer and said, hey, we want a new truck. It has to be a Ford. And I remember I got to pick the color of it, and it was purple. I've seen a few of them since then, but it was a purple Ford pickup truck. Back then, they didn't make crew cabs. It was a single cab, and we had 4 people in it. I remember sleeping on the floorboard as we drove to Alaska. Anyway, they bought it on a Friday night. Monday morning, they called the bank, said, hey, please cover the check. You can't do that today. I know, I bought a truck 2 years ago. No, they go through everything before that. So anyway, we moved to Alaska. Once we got here, like so many others, we didn't leave. So my parents started finding jobs. My dad eventually ended up as a journeyman carpenter for the city of Anchorage. My mom worked for, I don't know what the name of it was, but it was a little green shack that sold fruit and vegetables, and they had several of them around town back then. I don't know if any of you remember that, but they did. One was on the corner of Lake Otis and Tudor before they put in that little complex there. So, as that happened, my dad worked on some different projects, and in the process of working on one of them, he fell and hurt his back. So my mom said, go see the chiropractor. So he went to the chiropractor. The chiropractor found out that he was about 12 hours short of his master's degree in education. And so the chiropractor said, you're wasting your education. There will always be younger guys coming up, younger, stronger, faster, working harder than you will be able to, and they're not going to pay you for your skills. Just swinging of the hammer. So go back to school. Go be a chiropractor and come and work for me. So he did. We packed up and we moved to Palmer. And as a little kid, I'm like, why do we have to leave the house to go to Palmer? Because it's just right out there. Well, it was Palmer Chiropractic College of Chiropractic in Davenport, Iowa. Way down there. So I had it's different Palmer. I had to make that shift. Right? So we get down to Palmer. So before we got to Palmer, though, about between the time where he decided he was going to go and the first term started, we had the second huge experience for our family's health. My dad, as the carpenter, he was on a Friday afternoon making the last cut on a piece of plywood. And he ran his fingers right through a table saw.
Oh, no.
Sorry. Didn't mean to scrunch, but it was a 1/4 inch carbide tip. And it took the bone out of there and bone out of there. And he went to the ER. The nurse scrubbed it clean. And the doctor comes in and goes, I'm going to take it off there, there, there. And my dad's like, no, you're not. I need those. He goes, well, there's nothing left for me to work with. My dad said, well, if you can't help it, I'm going to have to go figure it out myself. So he left.
Oh my goodness.
And he found some herbs. He started soaking in the herbs. One of them was comfort root. Comfort root is known as the bone knitter to the indigenous people. And so he worked on it. 6 weeks later, he went back to that doctor and said, sign my work release. I need to get back to work. He needed those pads so as a chiropractor, he could feel what was going on with those bodies that he was helping them heal. Right? So that's where we learned the importance of herbs, and we've had other experiences with comfort root. So for your own first aid kit, there's 2 herbs that I would always recommend that you have. Comfort root is one. The second one is cayenne pepper. It is amazing to stop blood, but not bloody noses. Don't do it. Down there, don't do it.
You sprinkle
On what?
it on
On blood?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cut, just pour cayenne pepper in there. Pack it in there, it'll stop it.
Does it burn?
It burns the nose.
Or
It's not gonna burn the skin.
Oh, wow.
All right. So that's 2. We get to chiropractic college. A couple months into it, my dad's getting into school. He's enjoying it, learning stuff. Let me think about the timeline here because it couldn't have been right away because my little baby sister, the littlest one, the third one, she was born like 9 days, or couldn't have been 9 days, maybe 9 weeks before we left Anchorage to go down to Palmer, Chiropractic College. We moved from here, went to Elbert, Colorado, then to Davenport. Anyway, my mom and the baby, they got to fly, we got to drive. And they get down there, and my little baby's sister was old enough to stand up barely, leaning onto something. Well, my dad helped get himself through chiropractic school, did paper routes. We did paper routes in the morning and in the evening. And for some reason, my little baby sister was with us at one time, and he didn't see her leaning up against the door. Well, a couple weeks before this, the little baby had fallen out of her high chair, which is about there, landed on her head and paralyzed herself. We saw it in the news, very sad. You know, it's not good. Well, my little baby sister was sitting in the truck, and it was on a curb, so it was a little higher, probably about there. My dad didn't see her standing there, and he opened up the door and didn't catch her, and she fell out on her head. So that's where the rubber meets the road. What do you do? Well, he was a chiropractor. So he took her to the chiropractor. He worked on her, moved some bones around her neck. Everything was good. That's not to say that the other one, he could have helped her or not. I don't know. But it was that experience that, what are you going to do in that moment? What do you have your faith in? What is your root in, right? Moments like that help you really get breathing. So those help me to make some of my viewpoints about health. I chose to follow my dad's footsteps, and while I was a chiropractor, no, I wasn't a chiropractor. I was an undergraduate work. I was dating. I should have taken 2 years to do my undergraduate work, but I did it long enough to find my wife, which was longer than 2 years. Then I had to wait for her to get done with her school. Anyway, in the process of dating her, we got engaged, and we were having conversations about our future. And I said, there's 2 non-negotiable things. I will negotiate everything else, but these 2 I'm not. My first daughter is going to be named Michelin. I had met a girl when I was a teenager in Wasilla that I thought was really amazing, and I'm like, I want to remember her. So my first daughter is going to be named Michelin. My wife said, that's fine. My middle name is Lynn. Your first name is Mike. I can do that. So spelled like Michelin, so she's not real happy about that. Everybody's calling her the tire. But Michelin, and then it's good. So the next one was, sweetheart, my kids will not be vaccinated. She goes, well, my kids are going to be vaccinated. I'm like, but they're not going to be my kids. I'm like, she's like, no, wait, I like you. I'm like, it doesn't matter. My kids are not going to be vaccinated. I have family history, not going to go there. So she had to write a paper for her research, a paper for her English class. I said, why don't you do it on vaccine safety and prove to me that they're safe? Now this was 33 years ago. There was no internet. She was pulling microfiche and doing the hard studies of books, reviews, and newspaper articles, and magazines, and stuff like that. Halfway through, she comes and goes, my kids aren't going to get vaccinated. Cool. We can get married. We can have kids. So we have 5 kids. None of them have ever been vaccinated. They're all healthy. In fact, when my boys, I have 4 boys, 1 girl, like I said, when they were all in Boy Scouts, they would have to have a yearly physical. And they would go in, and the doctor would ask them, well, what medications are you on? Remind this 12-year-old boys to 16, 18, what medication are they deficient of? Shouldn't be any. But they were expected to be on medications because all of their friends, their peers, were on 1 to 3 different medications at that young age. I was like, dumbfounded. I'll talk about that in a minute. But so kids. So where am I here? Yeah, we had conversations about life before we got married, and one of them also was, if we have kids, where are we going to have kids? Well, we didn't have too much of a conversation there because I didn't know. But she was babysitting for a friend that had a little baby and almost immediately got pregnant again and had gestational diabetes. Mm-hmm. So my wife was watching the little toddler, who's like 10 months old, Shane, and the mom was in the hospital ready to give birth. And she took Shane in to see his mom, and as she's in the hospital, she sees bloody footprints on the floor. And she knows it didn't come from the mom, didn't come from the baby, didn't come from her. Where did this come from? And this is supposed to be the best hospital in the area where we were at for chiropractic school. And she goes, I'm not having a baby in a place like that. That's not clean. So I'm like, okay, well, what are you going to do? It's your choice. It's your body. Choose. She goes, I'm going to do some research. So she did. And she found midwives. And the first group of midwives were basically glorified nurses in a university delivering babies in the hospital but calling themselves midwives. She goes, that ain't going to work. Then she found some certified midwives. A little better, but then she found a group of lay midwives, a group of Mennonite women, about 10 or 15 of them. And we would go out to their place. That was like an hour drive over into Illinois, because we were in Iowa on the Mississippi. And we'd go over there monthly and we'd have a little congregation get together and they'd do a teaching seminar where they teach us important things about babies and mothers and delivery and breastfeeding, how fathers can help, sleeping, everything. They covered it. And it was really, really good and informative. And so then we're like, yeah, let's do this. So our little baby's coming. And if you know my wife, she's a go-getter. Okay, so she starts feeling contractions, called us the midwife, say, hey, things are happening, come on over. And she's like, I want to help this get along. Move faster.
Sorry.
Well, she has an idea of what might have happened because she's been into my office and she sees something on the floor. It's called a mini tramp. And my wife wants to get things going, so she's going to jump on the mini tramp. Well, the midwives make an assumption and it was wrong. They assumed that she'd been jumping her whole pregnancy. She had not. She started when she started in labor, right before the head engaged. And so some tissue got pinched. And 24 hours later, the midwife was like, something should be happening. This should be progressing. So they had to do an internal. They found a problem. There was some tissue that had been stuck and pinched. So gloves and some ice and some swelling, taking care of that. And the baby came, no big deal. But she was exhausted. And so once the baby came, she basically fainted onto the couch. I helped her get there. And the midwives, we had 3 of them there. We were well taken care of. It was a beautiful experience, even though it was kind of ugly. And when people talk to me about home births, I say we've had the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we go through some of those. So that was our first home birth experience. It was a little intense. Second one, my son's in the back there now. His was good. It was unremarkable. I don't remember it because it was good. Then the next one, we had moved up to Alaska, and this time we had heard that the medical doctor in town in Valdez had his baby at home. So we were excited. We'll be amongst friends. So we went and talked to him because we had to have an authority figure document that she was pregnant so that we could get a birth certificate later. So we went in for this exam, and he didn't examine her. He didn't ask her history. He just looked at her and said, you're going to have a hydrocephalic baby because my wife presents big.
Oh,
And so he then proceeded to try to scare us that if we didn't start care with him, he would not help us in an emergency. And that would take him at least 8 hours to get a life flight plane from here to Valdez. I'm like, it's going to take you 8 hours? I'll drive it in 4. So what good are you? That was my attitude about it. He just really did not help us. And later I found out that his home birth was his staff and everything that wasn't bolted to the ER floor at his house. That's what he considered a home birth. No, not so. So what did we do? We were kind of stuck now because our midwives were in Iowa, Illinois. And we checked the ones up here in Anchorage, and at that time, none of them would come to Valdez. And we didn't have any resources to come up here, so it kind of felt abandoned. So luckily, my wife remembered that one of the midwives said, hey, I'd love to come visit to Alaska.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yes.
So we made a phone call. Hey, Allison, guess what? We got a baby coming. Come up and help us. So at that time, it was cheaper to pay for her airfare, house her for 2 weeks, pay her fee than it was to even use a midwife here in Anchorage.
Holy.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy.
Wow.
And so she came up for that birth, and that birth was amazing. My wife was squatting in front of the couch, and Allison, the midwife, asked, "Hey, Mike, do you want to catch the baby?" Yeah. So the head comes out, and I watched the shoulders just rotate, and it fell right into my hands. It was amazing. So she helped with that one. Then we had another one. And this one didn't
Another
want to
boy.
come. Yeah, another boy. And my wife, she was okay with boys, and she really wanted a girl. I mean, not all mothers do, I think. But she had this dream repeatedly of watching. She was driving the car. She'd look in the rearview mirror and see 7 toe-headed boys. And after having that for 3 times, she's like, "Boys, okay, boys." I don't know. So another baby's on the way. Call Allison. She comes up. This time, this one doesn't want to come. This one, 4 months earlier, my wife had slipped on the ice. Had messed up her hip, so she couldn't be as active. She wasn't as good a shape as she had been with the other ones. And it was dramatically different. Our conditioning makes a huge difference in our ability to do things, right? So this time, again, 2 week was our window that Allison was going to be there. So nothing happens the first week. Second week, let's get stuff happening. So different herbs, different activities, and let's get this baby coming. He was stubborn. It wasn't until the last night that he finally made his entrance into the world. And it was exhausting for my wife. She did not want to repeat that. So, and that we again had a conversation. Do we want another kid? Because we have 4 now. That's 2 for you and 2 for me. Right? You got to walk these kids. Where's the 5th one going? Well, we talked about it, and we're like, well, maybe the 5th one be old enough that they can be a little more independent by that time. And we think that worked, so we decided to have 1 more. But we also had another friend that had 8 kids. And after her 8th kid, she got depressed and then went crazy. Left her family, left her husband to go sow her wild oats that she didn't sow in high school. And it was heartbreaking because they were a beautiful, beautiful family, right? And I'm like, dear, I love my kids. Don't get me wrong, but when they're gone, I need you. I want you. I've invested in you. I need you to be with me. So as much as I love my kids, I will not trade them for you. It's okay. So how many more are we going to have? I think we're going to have 1 more. So the 5th one comes along. How do you want to have this baby? She goes, I don't know, but I don't want to do it the last way. I'm like, how about a water birth? She goes, I'll think about it. So we talked about it, and at that time, YouTube had come around. So we could watch YouTube and watch water births. And they were pretty amazing. When they go right. So she said, yeah, let's do a water birth. So we cut a hole in our bedroom wall, put a deck outside, and bought a soft tub. A soft tub is a hot tub. It's not a hard shell, but it's 100 pounds of foam made into a big round tub. And it was wonderful in Valdez. We could roll it into the house, roll it down the hallway into the living room. And we did that, sat it there in the living room for like the last 3 months of her pregnancy. She would get in it, and we called the company. So, what about chlorine? Will that be a problem to the baby? She goes, and the people were like, no, if you don't have chlorine, that'll be a problem. You gotta have clean water. Okay. So, yeah, we did the normal stuff, just had good water, and it was clean. So, we're watching Lord of the Rings on a Sunday evening. I think we started about 10 o'clock. Why we had 4 little kids up that late, I don't know. But our timing has always been messed up. So we're watching the Lord of the Rings. My wife's in the hot tub. The movie ends, I put all the kids to bed, and she's like, okay, let's get in bed. She goes, well, we gotta go to the bathroom. Okay, get in the bathroom. she goes there, the kids are all sleeping, I'm in bed waiting for her, she comes to bed. I can feel that head back here. There's this much of bone back there, you can't feel it. I've since repented. Yes, you can. One. It's called back labor. And so she could feel it, but she wasn't feeling any contractions. She could just feel that. Anyway, she gets back in bed. I'm cold. We'll go get in the hot tub. I gotta go to the bathroom. This repeats a couple times. Finally, I'm like, what's going on? I don't know. So, one more time, she goes in the bathroom, and now has a contraction.
And plop. His baby.
There's extra hair down there. Can I call the midwife yet? No. I'm like, yes. So I call the midwife. She's a mile away, just right around the road. The family she's staying with, they can't find the phone to answer it. And when he does, he has it, but it's like 1 a.m, it just doesn't click that it's in his hand. Anyway, finally, I get that message, hey, send Allison, so they do. But in between that time and then, Tara's in the hot tub. I've woken up, I tried to wake up all the kids, but only one woke up. He came, sat out to welcome his baby, even though what it was. And I jumped back in the hot tub. Well, I'm running back and forth, like, go get some shorts. And Tara's like, well, what are you doing? I'm like, well, the midwife's coming. I gotta be prepared. I gotta put my shorts on. She said, no, just help me. So she's in the hot tub, has one more contraction, so now 2 contractions. Very gentle, almost not noticeable. She goes, I go, how can I help you? She goes, I need a little pressure. I'm like, okay, put some pressure in the right area. One more contraction, one push, heads out.
Wow.
Now she's excited, but she's nervous. I'm like, sweetheart, just relax. We got 5 minutes. Just calm, breathe. One more push, baby's out. I'm holding this little baby. I count toes, I count fingers. I look at beautiful, bright eyes. I look down. Sweetheart, do you want to meet your daughter? No way! Can't be! Are you sure?
No, I don't.
I've seen poor boys. She's missing what they had. This girl there. Tears just start coming. So she holds her baby, daughter, and it's just a miracle. Beautiful, beautiful birth. And that's a birth that I would wish on every lady and every baby. Michelin was so calm that she didn't cry for hours afterward. She was just there. Warm, peaceful. It was just beautiful. It was the continuation of the sacred moment 9 months earlier. So those are some of the things that have gotten me to where I am and where I'm passionate about. I'm a chiropractor. I deal with helping people get their health back. Now, Dr. Palmer was the first chiropractor. He was a doctor that practiced magnets. He used magnets to heal people. And he had an experience where his custodian was deaf. He said, Harvey, come here. Lay down on the bench. And so he examined his back, and he says he racked his spine. I don't know how to rack spine. I adjust them, but he racked it. And Harvey goes, I can hear the horses clacking on the cobblestone down on the road now. They're 2 or 3 stories up. And that was the story that Harvey shared and Dr. Palmer shared. That's what he did. Well, Dr. Palmer's son, BJ Palmer, said that's not what happened, and all the other doctors said that's not what happened because that's not possible, because the nerves for the ear only extend down to here. So there's no way my dad adjusted somebody down there to do something here with the ears. Well, it wasn't until 100 years later when I was actually in chiropractic school that they found the neurology that proved that that was possible. We don't know what we don't know. And a lot of physicians of all makes and brands are often very, very arrogant to think that they know everything about the body. We don't. We are finding new things about the body all the time. And so if they come to you and say, hey, I know everything, walk out. Okay? All right. So where should I start here? Your thoughts, your traumas, and your toxins. So somebody asked Dr. Palmer, what causes your body to go out of whack? And he responded the 3 T's. Your thoughts, your traumas, and your toxins. So
What was the third?
toxins. So what are your thoughts? Your thoughts are your relationships with your God, your family, your coworkers, your past, present relationships, and everything in between. And there's more to that. We'll get to that, but that's a good basis there. Your trauma, the small ones from having something small in your shoe that makes you change your gait, to the big car accidents. I'm sorry, whoever wrecked their car. That's hard. Don't do that. It hurts.
Tell the woman behind me.
Yeah, well, yeah. Again, playing those odds in your favor, I drive a big truck. And when my kids were younger, I had an Excursion. And it had a diesel engine in it. And I literally had a lady sit in my office go, Dr. Mike, do you like the environment? Because my truck was across the road there. She goes, do you like the environment? Yeah. This is the only home I have to live in. I think the earth is pretty important. She goes, well, why do you drive that big stinky diesel then? I'm like, oh, you don't like my family. She's like, what are you talking about? Well, you don't want them to be safe. Well, yeah, I want them to be safe. Well, you don't understand the driving that I do. I go from here to Valdez every other weekend, and I often take my family with me. It's not a matter of if I hit a moose, but when I hit a moose. I want to be able to walk away with my family intact. If I drive what you're driving, that's not going to happen. The odds are against me from doing that. So I drive something that will help increase the odds of me being safe. Oh. And I've hit 3 moose. Don't do it. It's hard on the car. But I've driven away all 3 times. So again, playing the odds in your favor. Okay. So then we have, that's trauma, and toxins. Toxins are in the air, they're in the water, they're in the food. We'll come back to those in a minute. So let's go to emotions. What are emotions? To me, emotions are energy in motion. Now this is the conversation that I wish we had recorded. Because, like I said, it flew. It was beautiful. But emotions. Emotions are energy in motion. So my example is Winnie the Pooh and Eeyore. Eeyore's down here in the dump. And Winnie the Pooh is up here in La La Land. Emotions should be, well, emotions are energy in motion. And a good example of life is the heartbeat. The heartbeat's up and down, but continuously moving forward. We are supposed to experience emotions. The joy and the sad, the grief, the love, all of those. We are supposed to experience them, but we're not supposed to be stuck in them. Eeyore stuck in Dumpville, Winnie the Pooh stuck in La La Land. Both are not in reality. Not in reality is not a good place to be in life. So I help people get back to reality and not let those stuck emotions fester and cause problems. Okay? Now, how can emotion cause a problem that a chiropractor could deal with? Well, we know that emotions or stress tighten up muscles. And when muscles get tight, they can pull up bones. And when they pull unbalanced, one side more than the other, they can literally start twisting stuff up. And you get stuff like this. Don't be stuff like that. Okay? So when I work with emotions, I share that, and then I explain that life is about making choices, and there are 4 areas in the body that we think with, at least 4. The 4 that I know of are pretty important though. So where do you think logically?
Okay.
Where do you think with your feelings?
Tummy.
Where do you have your instinct, your intuition? And where do you think with your hormones?
Further south.
Down lower, yeah.
Lower
We've all
than that.
experienced it. That's good. If you let any one of those lead the way, how can those choices be, how should I say it? Maybe not appropriate or misguided. But when all 4 of them are in congruence, all 4 of them are in alignment, you will make great choices. So, when we think logically here, being smart is important. Study is important. Wisdom is important. But feelings are also important. But feelings can be fickle. Right? And by fickle, I mean this. If you take this hand and run it underneath hot water and this hand under cold water and let them adapt to those temperatures and put them both underneath tepid water, your feelings are going to be very different from hand to hand, even though it is the same water. So feelings can be a little tricky. So be careful with feelings. And logic, if you just have logic, that's Spock.
Live long and prosper.
That's my text tone for everybody that texts me because I wanted to put out good vibes for everybody. Vibrational energy is real. But if you're just logic, you'll miss a lot of the joys of life too. Intuition. How important is that? It is really, really important. Sadly, we have conditioned it out of our kids. You have to go sit on Grandpa's lap. I don't want to. You have to go sit on Santa's lap. I don't want to. Instead of having a hard conversation, why do you not want to? You have to let Aunt Susie grab that sugar out of your cheek. I hated that one. Because I didn't want to. There was something in me that said, no, I don't want to be around that person. But we say, no, you have to. Fortunately, we haven't done it to our dogs yet, so we can still use them as guardians. But we had that intuition within us to recognize people that want to do harm with us. So when you meet somebody for the first time, you'll have one of 3 responses. Long lost brother or sister. Man, where have you been? I miss you. Neutral. Give it or take it. No big deal. Or I'm ready to just clock you and I don't even know you. But we, like I said, we decondition us to feel those, which I think is a big disservice to our kids, because then they can't trust that intuition, that instinct, and then be able to follow it. And then my favorite one, the gonads. Hormones. And you'd be amazed at how many people. So in one of the chiropractic, with the chiropractic technique that I do, and I'll explain this a little more later. One of the zones is about hormones, and I'll have older people go, "Oh, I don't have any more hormones." You're thinking about the sex hormones. You got a whole bunch of more hormones besides just the sex hormones. And you still have those 2, They're just not in the same quantity. But this area of the body is the area of creation, procreation, wealth building, creativity in all the different forms of life. So it's extremely important to have healthy hormones. Not just the sex hormones, but all of them. Okay? And by creation and procreation, it amazes me that the old guys that were naming bones, way, way, way back when they named this, yeah, I was thinking here, but yes.
Humorous.
And the femur down here, that they named this bone right there the sacrum, meaning sacred. Life is sacred. Those old guys knew that. Sadly, we've forgotten that. All right. She said I could go a little longer.
Go for it.
Throw her under the bus. All right. I
Do
hope
not
you're
hurt
getting
us.
some good stuff from here. There's two more big areas. We want to talk about the trauma. Trauma. When do you think you had your first trauma?
Birth.
When I was born.
You were listening.
Yes,
before
I am.
birth.
I know.
Sadly, many yes, but if it wasn't then, it was definitely birth. People, well, I was a C-section. I'm like, well, you haven't watched C-sections then, have you? Because they're either you ain't got heart. So birth, probably our first trauma. Then hopefully you weren't dropped as a baby. But mom didn't admit to it, so we don't know. But I do know that as you learn how to walk, you fell. And yes, babies are really low, so it's micro trauma. It's not like us falling. When we fall, it hurts. When they're falling, it's not hurting so much. But it's still micro trauma, and it accumulates. So in my office, what I have is a bath towel. And I give one end to you, and I hold the other end. And for every trauma, I twist. And we go through all the traumas of life. We got school, sitting in a chair. How comfortable was it?
No.
Terrible.
It's trauma. Then we get into high school. We play our sports. Again, trauma. And then we're either liked or not liked. Hormones. And then good grades, bad grades. Stress. Cranking up this towel. And then we get into college and we have to pay for it. And then we're cranking it up even more. And we have a car accident. Crank it up some more. And pretty soon I can move this, and whoever has the other end of it, is moving just like I am. Because there's no more give in that towel. When before, at birth, I could wiggle this end very vigorously, and you're like, so what? No big deal. Our body has so much ability to compensate that sometimes we forget that it's actually being hurt. Because we have this idea that the body is self-healing in all things, which is not true. Go cut your finger off.
Excuse me, I have a cat. I disagree.
Go cut your finger off. We can have that conversation, right? But I'll come back to that in just a minute. So let's shake that. Now your hand is coming with me. Now you get into college, you have to pay for it. Then you go get married. And even in good marriages, there's stress of life, right? Everybody has physical traumas. Coming back to the finger, the idea came to me as I was sitting here through that meditation, that there's an interesting story in the Bible. Peter, when they were at the Garden of Gethsemane, had the guards come up, and he took his sword out and whacked one of the guards' ears right off. And Christ did one of his miracle healings. He put that ear right back on. And I'm like, yeah, that's really cool. That's a cool healing. But somebody explained to me later that what he did wasn't so much for the guard as it was for Peter. He removed all evidence of any crime so that he could not be punished for cutting that ear off. mind blown. So just food for thought. So yeah, we can cut that finger off. All right, so trauma. How do I deal with trauma? That's my chiropractic technique. And I use a technique called zone. Zone technique has been around for a while. And it's very different than all other chiropractic techniques in that all other chiropractic techniques think that we need to remove the nervous interference or the interference to the nervous system down here in the spine so the brain can tell the body what to do. That has a really big assumption that the brain is okay.
Right.
Okay? We're figuring this out. Zone technique doesn't make that assumption. It actually says, no, the problem is up here. We got to adjust the spine to fix this first. And there are 6 zones in the brain. Those 6 zones are our hormones, our elimination system, our nervous system itself, our digestive system, our musculoskeletal system, and then our cardiovascular liquid systems. With those 6 systems, I cover every single cell in the body multiple times. So it does not matter what you come in with, I can help you because I'm helping with the cells to restore that energy and the system up here so that the body then can tell the body what to do to heal itself. I facilitate healing. Okay? So it's pretty amazing, and it, in studying this, Dr. Pete, who is my mentor, my teacher, he has studied a lot of the major healers known to man, and he's like, we have to study Christ, take the religion aside, don't get bound up there, but just study his healings. There is nobody that's comparable in healing. How did it happen? Right? And so study that. And then he studies others, and he really gets into the metaphysicals aspect of it, and that you can pull down any idea from the ethereal world and implant it into you and have it manifested. Don't stop yourself from being healthy. Think. Coming back to those thoughts, the trauma of the thoughts, I forgot to mention that part of that is the programming that we have as kids. We are literally sponges from the time we're born up until about 8. We don't think. We're just learning programs. We're observing things. And then we run those programs later in life. For an example, if your parents, every time you fell down, said, oh, you got a boo-boo, let's put a Band-Aid on there. How do you think you're going to respond as an adult? Oh, I got a boo-boo, I better go see the doctor. Oh, put some dirt on that. Stand up, you're fine. You fall down as an adult, you're going to get back up and go. Not going to even worry about it. Same thing with money. Same programming, same sort of situation. Abundance, that process of living in abundance or in scarcity. We program our kids to be that same way. And we can reprogram ourselves and help them reprogram themselves too. All right. So, how do I adjust people? Gently. Well, unless they want something more physically. But the zone is literally just a vibrational technique where I'm vibrating specific segments of the spine to generate energy of the negative pole of the body to turn on the positive pole up here. And it can be as much as just wiggling here, or I can literally adjust it, or something in between. It's incredible. And because it's energy, I'm not limited to just having you in my office. I can send energy anywhere in the world and adjust people to other places. And this might sound a little wild and really, really out there, but you guys are out here about metaphysical.
I was
So
going to say, yeah.
we're here.
We're here.
Energy.
Good energy.
Energy. I had a lady in Germany that I was helping her son because he had had a couple concussions. We were on the phone, Skype, whatever it is, Zoom. Anyway, we're talking, and I take care of the boy. He runs off, and she goes, I got to hang up. I got a migraine. I'm like, I got you. hang up. So I did my stuff. 10 minutes later, she calls and she texts me back. What did you do? My migraine's gone. I'm like, well, I took care of you. I restored the proper function of flow through the spine, energetically. Pretty wild stuff. A lot of fun. So zones, that's what I do with trauma. Then we have toxins. Toxins, so everywhere. I do a lot of nutritional work with people, but if they don't have a good diet or aren't willing to have a good diet, I cannot overcome a bad diet with supplements. Period. End of story. So I had one young, I guess he's about 30, come in, hey, Dr. Mike, I think I'm ready to do your nutrition program. I'm like, okay, well, tell me about what your diet's like. He goes, well, what do you drink? I drink a liter of diet something every day. I'm like, are you willing to give that up? No. Well, then we're not doing it. Because I cannot help you if that's what you're doing. There's no way. Now, if you're willing to change, I'll help you. And I'll help you change. I had one lady that was drinking, I want to say 6 Monsters a day. Those big ones. Along with some Diet Pepper.
Is that a name of a drink? Monster?
Yeah, energy drink.
Okay.
Hypercaffeinated.
It's poison, straight up poison. I helped get her off that though in about 6 months. And she had energy when she wasn't drinking that. And then when she drank it, she actually recognized that she didn't have energy because her body was starting to heal. And I help people with smoking. And I love it when they work on the North Slope because they'll come in, I have the smoking habit. I'm like, okay, do you smoke all the time? Yeah. All right, you got to work up in the North Slope in the wintertime? Yeah. Go outside when it's minus 40. That's the only place you can smoke. I'm not doing that. Because it's not a habit. It's a choice. Confront that. If it's a habit, you would smoke outside. It's not. So we have to look into those things a little bit deeper as to what they really are. So with the toxins, I use something called muscle testing. A few nods. Okay. Kinesiology, applied kinesiology. Who hasn't experienced it? Well, okay. Cool. So with it, I scan the body, head to toe, find out what areas are weak, are struggling. Then I prioritize, and then I find out what that priority organ is struggling from. Is it the food you're eating? Is it a metal? Is it a chemical? Is it a bug? Is it a parasite? Is it COVID? Is it a scar? Any and all of those things can cause an interference in the body's ability to heal. Then I find a remedy for that, and then I see how many of those other problem areas are also taken care of until we find the second thing that needs to be taken care of. And we just repeat that process until all the body is strong. With as few supplements as we can get away with. Okay? And so that's what I do for nutrition, for toxins. We just help clean the body. And it's not an easy thing because we have decades of polluting. And it's out there. We can't get away from it. There are forever chemicals that they're dumping at a rate that's crazy out there. And so I continue to search for the best supplements to help clean the body, and I educate you about what should you eat, what you shouldn't eat, how you eat, when you eat, and things like that. But I use muscle testing to do that. I use muscle testing also for the emotional work and the zone work, because if I can ask your body what it needs, it will tell me better than you or I will ever know. Yeah.
Is that also something that you can teach us to do, so we could like do a little
Yeah,
check in with ourselves
yeah, I'll have to come
occasionally.
back and do that. Yeah, it'd be fun to do, for sure. We could do a workshop. So, all right, so those are the three things that I think are causing people to have problems. Those are three things that I help people with. Now, what can you do? Well, let's talk about the hierarchy of life. We first have that spark of life, right? You have the spark of life. What's the next most important thing? No, before water.
Yeah.
Air.
Hmm.
Breathing. You gotta breathe. You can live about 3 minutes without air. Then you gotta have it. What's after that? Huh?
Lack of air.
You gotta have air. What's after air?
Water.
It's not water. You can go 3 days without water. This one's up to debate. I would say love.
Oh, I'd take that one.
If you don't have
You
love, life is really
Love.
hard.
Yeah.
Don't you say?
Just saying.
Bud's helping us out.
Okay. And then water's important. And then people would say food. You can go 40 days without food. There's a lot of other things that are more important than food. Love is one. There was something else, but I forgot what it is. Compassion, grace, forgiveness. So some other things that are important to help you be healthy, though. Exercise. Move. Even if it's just walking, move. Choose what you eat. And what I mean by eat food. So we better define food. Food is, it had a mama or came out of the ground. As much as I love ice cream and pizza, they are not food. They're products. Yeah, I know. I know. But they're not food, they're products. Anytime you have 3 or more things, it becomes a product. And if it is shelf stable, it's not food. Real
Seriously.
food.
Twinkies.
Real food rots. Okay?
Stable, I like
So
that.
that's food. Enjoy that. All right.
It has a mama or was in the ground?
Yeah, it came from the ground and had a mom. Okay. So exercise, eat good food, have love in your life. Have love in your life. Yeah. Love is important. And that's another topic we could talk on for a while too. I think I'm getting really low on my time. So, that's my wife. I want to close with an analogy. When I was in Valdez, I had a window looking out my window, or a window looking out the outside to the mountain, and people would run up the mountain, kind of like Seward,
yeah.
but not as crazy. The trail is a lot more narrow. It was like a one-person trail. Anyway, I would see people climb up and go down in the summertime. And this idea came to me that there's 3 types of cars. You have a junk car, you have a family car, and you have a race car. Which one gets the most work done on?
The junk car.
Family car.
Or junk?
Race car.
Oh.
The race car has the most work done on it because on race day, it has to be able to perform. So it has a whole team of mechanics working on it all week to make it be able to perform. They're just trying to eke out just a little bit more than the competitor. But there's no guarantees in life. They could go and any time during that race wreck, and all that work is for nothing. So there are no guarantees in life. Like I said, my wife could still one day wake up and go, "Who are you?" And then my life is crying. But like I said, there's no guarantees in life. So they can wreck. But they have that whole team of mechanics. They got a specialist for the tires. They have a specialist for the aerodynamics, for the engine, for the steering, for every little part of that car. The family car gets work done on a schedule. Maintenance. This time, they do certain things. The junk car has gone beyond that, and now it only gets work done when it doesn't work. And only enough to get it a little bit better or to work again, but never to really improve it. And the family car never really improves. It's just maintained. It's the race car that they do that work to improve it. There are those types of people in life too. And as they were going up the mountain, you had the race car guy. He was getting up there. He'd get up to the top, get his camera out. This is amazing. This is so awesome. I'm so glad I got my camera so I can show my family these amazing pictures. I'm going to have to do this again. This is so awesome. The family car guy huffs and puffs his way up to the top. Maybe using some hiking poles, I don't know. But he gets up there. I'm so glad I got my camera. This is amazing. I don't think I can do this again. And the junk car guy, he's down on his couch with his binoculars, beer and burritos going, what are this guy doing? Who had the best day? Make your day the best day. Have the team around you to help you with your health. Okay? So I was told to bring business cards. Get your phones out.
Question and answers
Yeah,
for
we're gonna
Dr.
do
Mike?
that too. Get your phones out.
Okay.
Go to your contacts. This is way better than business card. On there's a little plus button. Put that. First name is Mike.
On contact?
Yeah. Second and last name is Olkjer. Olkjer. Well, you can text her.
Yeah.
She'll send you my contact.
I will.
And then my number is 907 440 0046.
7. What was that again?
907
440.
440 0046.
I may have missed it. Are you located in Anchorage or
I am.
Palmer? Okay.
Can you tell me your last name again?
Olkjer. I'm located in Anchorage. Yeah.
How do you spell that?
Okay. Olkjer. If you have the keyboard there.
Yeah.
O.
Yeah.
L.
Yeah.
K. J. They're right there in a row. And then ER.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it's easy. We lived in Valdez. I had a practice there. My dad retired. I worked 2 more years. My kids were getting of the dating age. I'm like, the gene pool's too small here. We gotta move. So we moved to Anchorage. People were really upset with me. I said, okay, I'll come back every couple weeks. So I did for about 18 months. It kind of petered out. I had my 20th high school reunion coming up. My wife's like, you should just put out some feelers and see if anybody wants to get adjusted. No, I don't want to do that. No, we should do that so we can write the trip off. No, I don't want to do that. No, we really should do that. She won. I put out feelers. I almost missed my reunion because I was so busy. That was 15 years ago. Every 2 weeks I go back to Valdez.
Wow.
I drive down there Thursday night, see people Friday, then I drive back, seeing people in Glen Ellen, Kokona, Copper Center, Palmer. Then I work sometimes here Saturday night. And then Sunday morning, 9 years ago, I had somebody from Fairbanks down in my office doing nutrition. He goes, well, what about us? Well, what about you? Well, come up and see us. Well, it was a moment of weakness. My wife and kids were snowbirding at the time. I had a nice truck and fifth wheel. They were taking and leaving me. And so I was alone and like, I haven't been to Fairbanks for a while. They got an extra bed. Okay. That was 9 years ago. So every Sunday I fly up there, work all day, fly home. And I work here Monday through Thursday,
Every Sunday?
every other Sunday.
So where are you located in town?
Midtown, you know where the Sears Mall
What's your
is?
address?
Text him.
Text me, because I don't do walk-ins.
Okay, so you don't have an address in
No, I
Midtown?
do, hold on. It's,
It's on Eagle Street, thank you.
no, it's not on Eagle Street.
Okay,
No.
well,
Oh, it's, I just drive there, I don't know.
It's 2511 Fairbanks Street,
oh, you're on Fairbanks, okay.
between Northern
Sweet
Lights
Yeah. Yeah, you're right around the corner from,
and Northern
Right.
Lights and Fire.
Sweet idea.
Number 8.
Yeah. Sweet 8. So, thank you very much.
Any other
Thank
questions?
you.